I would say I'm more confident now than I've ever been probably in my life, just because I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid to live.
To paddle a dragon boat across a body of water for any group of people can present a challenge, as it takes great rhythm, timing, and communication to move the vessel without tipping over. However, for Southern Alberta's visually impaired dragon boat team, paddling a boat actually reignites their spirit while giving the members a sense of empowerment and freedom from being out on the water.
For a long time, I used to have home care coming into my house, putting eye drops, giving me medications and all this stuff. And I basically felt trapped in my house. Like I was afraid to go anywhere because I couldn't see where I was going. And now I'm not afraid to go to the bus stop to take the bus. I'm not afraid to find my way down here so that I can actually go and get into a dragon boat and paddle, I'm more able now than I was because I was always afraid. But what is fear? Fear is false expectations appearing real, right? So there you go.
Honestly, the independence. I need a guide to get to the boat. I need help getting into the boat a little bit. But once I'm in that boat, it's all up to me to do my best to keep, to work with my team. I don't have to depend on anybody else but myself. Yeah, and I mean, everybody works together, obviously, but it's very freeing to not have to be told, okay, go this way, go that way, now don't step there, move over here. Like, just to get in there and do it. It's, that was one of the biggest things that I felt when I first started was, wow, I could do this and I could do it on my own.
The Team Blind Ambition came together 3 years ago through a joint effort between Alexa Fowler, who is the program coordinator for the Alberta Sports and Recreation Association for the Blind, and current team member Emily Lawson, who first suggested the idea of formulating a dragon boat team after trying out the sport for herself.
So do you think we could start a blind team? And then I just started recruiting. And Will was one of the first people I said, so how do you like blind bowling, Will? And he was like, I hate it. So I was like, well, you ever paddled? And he said, no. I said, we'll get you a paddle. So we got him a paddle, and he's back for his 3rd year, and he loves it. So yeah, I mean, I just kept anybody I ran into at any event, I was like, so have you ever paddled in a boat? And like almost all of them, like never. And the first year we had I think Zolu was like 12 or 13, and we had a 75-year-old. I mean, that's amazing. And this is our 3rd year, and we're paddling really, really well.
When I first was asked, I was actually a little nervous, honestly. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it would work. I have been dragon boating now for 2 decades, and I hadn't thought of an all visually impaired team and what that would actually mean. So I said yes, I would do it. But then the first time we had to get into the boat, I went, oh, how are we gonna do this safely? Okay, and I really had to think about it. So I wear bright clothing. I am very loud. I'm very clear with my instructions. And as someone who's had full sight for their entire life, I had to really kind of check that privilege. And I would say, oh, can you see this over here? And of course they can't see that over there, right? So I had to really be cognizant of my language and give very clear instructions. And so once we got into the boat for the first time though, from the very beginning, it just felt natural. They were able to do it right from the beginning. You can feel the drum. You can listen to the drum. There's something primal about that even. And then all paddling together in sync as a team, as a community, like there's beauty in that. And they can feel the drum, they can listen to the sound of my voice. And once they're in the boat, their visual impairment doesn't mean anything.
Because all members of Blind Ambition have some form of a visual impairment, steerer Dwayne Piper uses creative training methods to teach and prepare the participants on how to paddle collectively, but also what to do in an emergency situation, since they aren't able to use their eyesight for learning like most people.
We've got a group of people who are very, very capable, but in a critical situation could be vulnerable. Now, we negate that by lots of practices. Everybody knows what to do. We practice, we rehearse if we do tip. And I just am extra careful that we don't have too much weight on one side of the boat, on the front of the boat, the back of the boat, and that we are definitely in time. Because if we're paddling out of time, the boat starts to rock like that. And so we just gotta pay extra careful attention to those kind of things.
But we also go to the Stan Seawick pool and do what we call a pool plunge. So we do, everybody puts on a PFD and we eventually jump into the water, and we do practices of what to do in case there is we tip and things like that. So there is a safety thing that is done every year.
Consistency plays a key role in the lives of those that are visually impaired. Knowing what is where and that we can rely on a certain person or location or an item is very helpful, because then we have to, then it becomes like a hand or a finger, and it just moves, and it's one less thing we have to think about.
So one of the things steers love to say is focus in the boat. And that's something that you'll hear screamed into boats all festival weekend long. But when I say it, it's a cue for everybody to breathe and to really listen and to feel each other. And so when I say focus in the boat, for all the other teams I've ever steered for, it's okay, let's be serious here, guys. It's about to start. And when I say focus in the boat with this crew, it's they take a breath and then they all come together as a group and they really listen to my voice.
The types of visual impairments team members deal with vary from some forms of usable vision to having no vision at all.
So legally blind comes from an ophthalmologist, and legally blind means you're not, it really has more to do with your numbers. So if your vision becomes 50/20, you can no longer drive a car. Legally blind is about 200/20. I'm way up at 2200 at this point. So the reality is the majority of those of us who are legally blind, we have some usable vision. Yeah, we actually have some in the boat that are completely blind. My partner, Will, who paddles beside me, has been totally blind.
So I don't see anything straight ahead. And then in my peripheral vision, I have learned that I'm nearsighted, which means it's a little bit more fuzzy and blurry at a distance.
I was born with congenital cataracts and optic nerve hypoplasia, which caused most of my vision to not develop. My vision is like pretty blurry. I only have one like good spot. I can't see very good far away or close. I can't like react fast with anything. Like if I'm playing sports, I won't be able to react fast enough to move out of the way.
I've been legally blind for 9 years. It started out just with dry eyes, and it got worse. Right now, I can see the image of your face, but not in clarity without my glasses. So I probably can only see a couple of feet ahead of me with a 10 times magnification in my glasses and with some other little things they've done, the specialists on the glasses. I've only had glasses for about a year and a half.
Despite the challenges the sport of dragon boating presents, the positive impacts team members of Blind Ambition continue to receive is endless.
I chose to do dragon boat because, well, first I was going to be with a bunch of people that are visually impaired, so it gives me like chances to learn new things and to be with like my community. And dragon boat is a really adaptive sport that anyone can do because we can just listen and all paddle together.
Paddling, doesn't take any tech. It's really nice to not have to use tech to do something. And it's really nice to just be able to get in the boat and go. It is so good to physically be able to do a physical exercise activity together as a team.
It's just the effort I put in is mine, and my decision how I do it, and and how hard I work, and that's a little freeing when you're used to no spontaneity in your life, you know, and people often making decisions for you based on the fact that you can't see where you're going.
Through the motion of paddling, much like the fluid nature of the water they glide on, the Blind Ambition team has learned to embody their differences as a lesson of adaptation rather than a disability.
And they call it a disability. And I said, no, I'm just have a different ability, because the rest of the senses are heightened when you lose one of your others. So basically, I just see things with my eye, not with, maybe less with my eyes and more with my hands, my smell, my hearing, the way that the wind blows through my hair. You know, I just am differently abled.
Most people weren't sure about it, and a lot of people had never picked up a paddle before. But it's just pure joy and freedom. I don't have to worry about finding my way on a sidewalk. I don't have to worry about falling down. I can just get in there and go, and in harmony, right? It's kind of like being in a band. It's amazing.
For anybody that may have a disability or impairment, that may have a fear of trying something new, what would you tell them?
Sorry, it just gets me. That the world is generally pretty kind.
You know what? If the blind people can do it, you can do it.